they work and sometimes fail, we should be able to understand them. We owe this overconfidence to an idea that many of us are ensorcelled by, which is the unlimited potential of the human mind. We believe that if we just work hard enough, we can achieve a perfect understanding of everything around us, especially what we ourselves have built. We see this sentiment in what is termed the Whiggish view of progress, described by the writer Philip Ball as the belief that humanity is on a triumphant voyage out of the dark ages of ignorance and superstition into the light of reason. This view is found within science as well as among technophiles, as the historian Ian Beacock writes, "The tech industry tells the Whiggish tale about the digital ascent of humanity. From our benighted times, we'll emerge into a brighter future, a happier and more open society in which everything has been measured and engineered into a state of perfect efficiency." Surely, say those who adhere to such a viewpoint, this growth in efficiency and productivity presumes our continued ability to understand the phenomenal engineering we have constructed for such an uplifting purpose. This Whiggish perspective is related to the modern mindset described by the sociologist Max Weber, a sense that the world is disenchanted, that one can, in principle, master all things by calculation. But more and more, this way of approaching complexity just doesn't work. We are in a new era, one in which we are building systems that can't be grasped in their totality or held in the mind of a single person. They are simply too complex. We are finding ourselves, expert or not, more often in the realm of Toyota's unintended acceleration, where this old way of thinking will no longer suffice. These situations are not at the edges of our experience. They suffuse our lives. What complex systems are and aren't. It's worth taking a moment to talk about what we mean by complicated and complex systems. While in this book, and even in its title, I use these terms, complex and complicated, more or less interchangeably in their colloquial sense, there are important distinctions. Imagine water buoys tied together, floating in the water. As a boat goes by, its wake generates small waves that begin moving one buoy, then another, but each buoy does not act alone. Its own motion, since it is connected by ropes to other buoys of different weights and sizes, causes changes in the undulations of the others. These movements can even cause unexpected feedback so that one buoy's motion eventually comes back indirectly to itself. The boat's simple wake has generated a large cascade of activity across this complex network of buoys, and if the boat had sped by in just a slightly different way, at another speed or angle, the motions of the buoys might have been entirely different. Now, let's say we pull up the buoys and toss them onto the dock. Their arrangement is precise and potentially hard to describe. It might require many paragraphs to write out the arrangement of these buoys, complete with diagrams, so that someone could recreate this specific configuration, but there's nothing interesting going on here. There are no cascading effects, no feedback, no process happening within this sophisticated network. It's just a bunch of stuff that can float, sitting in a pile on a dock. The buoys in the water form a complex system. The buoys on the dock? Their arrangement is simply complicated. For a system to be complex, it's not sufficient for it to contain lots of parts. The parts themselves need to be connected and interacting together in a tumultuous dance. When this happens, you see certain characteristic behaviors, hallmarks of a complex system, such as small changes cascade through this network, feedback occurs in the complex system, and there is even a sensitive dependence on the initial state of this system. These properties, among others, take a system from complication to complexity. Here's another way to think about this distinction. Living creatures are complex, while dead things are complicated. A dead organism is certainly intricate, but there is nothing happening inside it. The networks of biology, the circulatory system, metabolic networks, the massive firing neurons, and more, are all quiet. However, a living thing is a